Thursday, he mentioned a couple boxes that the guy is not ticking yet. One of them was the number 666. I thought, wait a minute, Irenaeus tells us how to calculate that number. So Irenaeus wrote in the year 180 AD, long before the Catholic Church was established. This is the early church fathers, before there was any division in the church. No Catholicism, no pope, no bishops. Well, if you're Catholic, I apologize, right? Peter was the first pope. But from the perspective of people who aren't Catholic, you could say that this Irenaeus transcends the Protestant Catholicism divide. That's all I'm saying. He's for all of us, okay? He was the direct disciple of Polycarp, who was the direct disciple of none other than John, who wrote Revelation on the Isle of Patmos. And Irenaeus says, yes, this is the same John who was the beloved disciple of Christ, one of the 12 or one of the 11. So Irenaeus didn't know him, but the guy that discipled him did. And Irenaeus says at one point in his massive tome called Against Heresies, written in 180 AD, he says, look, the number is not 616. That's a heresy. It's a very old heresy. You have to look at so people who said it's 616, they were saying, oh, it was Nero, Caesar Nero, or Nero Caesar. So this is all done, it's in the past. Irenaeus said, no, it's in the future, hasn't happened yet. It's not 616. And what else? Oh, also people were using the Hebrew gematria for the calculation. Irenaeus said, no, you're supposed to use the Greek method, which is called isosephy. And so Irenaeus makes it all clear, and he gave us 3 sample names that calculated to 666. He also warned us there will be many names that will calculate to a small handful, right? But several names that are in use as names that will calculate to 666. You have to watch for other things. We're not saying al-golani is the guy. We're not saying he's the guy. We're just pointing out some ways that he correlates to what we're told to expect. Anyway, so the 3 names that Irenaeus gives, if you can find how to do isosephy like I did, and you can use those as calibration tools. Does this name translate to 666? It did. The 2 others did as well. That's why I knew I was on the right track on Saturday. I calculated this guy's name, came to 666. I calculated a bazillion other names and they didn't. Okay, now, Akhmad. Why are we saying Akhmad? Because al-golani is a name he gave himself as what's called a nom de guerre. That's French for name of war. It's a pseudonym to protect your identity in a war. So al-golani is not his given name. His given name is Akhmad al-Shara'a, I think. Something like that. Al-Shara'a, or whatever it is his last name, his family name. The name specific to him, given to him at birth by his mother, I assume, maybe his dad, that he's had all along, that is his unique name within his family, is Akhmad. The media's been printing it as Ahmed, A-H-M-E-D, or A-H-M-A-D. Ryan and I checked with our friend Naif in Lebanon, and Naif said, no, it's actually Ahmad, but the way Arabs pronounce it is Ahmad without H, right? So if people go try to calculate this guy's name using the Hebrew gematria, they won't get it. If they try to calculate it using the way his name is printed in the Western media, they won't get it. You have to know that it's the Ahmad with an A, and that you have to have that Ch sound, which is accounted for in the Greek alphabet, not in our alphabet here in America. What is that alphabet called? I don't know. But in the Greek alphabet it is. It looks like an X. Here it is again. So you have the H sound, you have the Ahmad or Ahmad with the A in the second syllable, and look how perfect that is. Kelly, is that showing up? Okay, good. All right. What else about him? Why did we start looking in the first place? Because he could very well be a Syrian. That's an ethnic group that represents 5% of people living in Syria, mostly in the north. That's where his family's from. He has to be, the Antichrist has to be from the tribe of Dan. We don't know with this guy yet, but the tribe of Dan, they're not lost, by the way. That's a misnomer. It's very well known to scholars that they're actually in existence in northern Syria, where this guy comes from, also northern Iraq. So his family's from the right place geographically for him to tick those boxes. The Antichrist is supposed to take over peacefully. Look at the news. He took over peacefully through flattery and intrigue. Look at the news. How did this guy rise to the top? He's very, very charming. Also, if he is the guy, he'll need an army whose preferred method of killing Christians and Jews will be beheading, because that's what Revelation says. Weirdly, John wrote Revelation when the Roman Empire was still in power. They didn't kill Christians or Jews by beheading. They used crucifixion, throwing them to wild beasts like lions and other wild animals, and also burning them. They called them human candles. They didn't use beheading. John the Baptist was beheaded. There's a couple mentions of beheading in the Old Testament, but in terms of an army that is going to use beheading, guess who al-golani was with before all this? He was with ISIS, and that's their preferred method. He says he has disavowed them. If it's a ruse, though, then guess what? He has ISIS at his disposal. They're still all over Syria. You can look at the maps. He ticks other boxes too. He came in under a black flag. He announced himself in the Umayyad mosque in Damascus. So now there's two boxes that he's ticking that will make him the Shia Messiah or Mahdi. The true Antichrist will have to be the Messiah convincingly to a bunch of different religions and people groups. He's already ticking those boxes as well. So is this the Antichrist? We can't know. We won't know until whoever the Antichrist is seats himself in the temple in Jerusalem. Until that day, which is the halfway point of the Great Tribulation, you can't know. Is this guy worth watching? He is.